Hey, it's good to have you back. Episode 27. Coulda, shoulda, would've, the road to nowhere moments. Imagine this. You're in the shower, or on the train, or loading the dishwasher at 10:43 p.m., and suddenly your brain hits play. On the same old commentary. I could have taken that job. I should have spoken up in that meeting. I would have started the podcast if I wasn't so late, so unprepared, so behind. You're not doing anything wrong in that moment. You're just haunted by the alternate versions of you. The one who stayed. The one who left sooner. The one who took the risk. The one who didn't. Welcome back to Pivot Era, the audio corner of your life where we slow down long enough to actually hear ourselves think. Today we're talking about coulda, shoulda, would've, and why it feels so powerful, but quietly leads us nowhere, especially if you're in a season of career pivot, identity shift, or that weird in-between where you're still figuring out what finding purpose even means for you. Let's start with the invisible life you're measuring yourself against. Sound familiar? This is a version of you that exists only in your head. We all do it. We will always do it. Here's what I mean. The you who never messed up that exam. The you who moved cities at the perfect time. The you who just knew what to do with their life at 26. That version becomes your secret measuring stick. And every time you whisper, I should have known better, or if I'd just done X back then, you're comparing your real, breathing life to a fantasy built with hindsight and highlight reels. No context. No nervous system. No messy human feelings. Just perfect, clean decisions. It's not a fair fight. Think about it. Of course it's not. So if you've ever caught yourself replaying old choices, like a late-night rewatch of a show you don't even like anymore, it means you have blood in your veins. You're just human. And your brain is trying to protect you, albeit in a slightly clumsy way. So why does coulda, shoulda, would've feels productive, but isn't? On the surface, this kind of thinking looks like growth. I'm reflecting. I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm being responsible. And sometimes that is what's happening. But often, and I believe actually, and especially for people navigating Gen Z work culture or later in life career transitions, I should've is actually code for I don't trust myself right now. It shows up like, I should have taken that safer job instead of trying something creative. I could have been further ahead in my career if I wasn't so indecisive. I would have been successful by now if I didn't waste time. Notice how each of those sentences has a subtle sting of shame. Not curiosity, not learning, shame. The thing is, shame doesn't move us forward. It just keeps us stuck in a loop, staring at a door that's already closed, instead of noticing the ones that are quietly opening in front of us. If you want something gentle and practical to hold on to, here's a simple 3-part framework you can use the next time your brain drifts into coulda, shoulda, would've. 1. Catch. First, just notice the sentence. I should've, I could've, I would've. You don't have to fix it. Just catch it like you'd catch a notification on your phone. Oh, there it is! The I should've story. Ask yourself, what am I actually believing about myself right now? Is it I'm behind? I'm not smart enough? I always mess things up? Naming it brings it into the light. 2. Learn to care more for you. Instead of debating with yourself, bring care into the moment. This is the piece most of us skip. I do this too much as well, but I try hard to get better at it. You can try saying something like, of course I feel this way. I was doing the best I could with what I knew then. Or, it makes sense I'm replaying this. That moment mattered to me. We can often treat our past selves like villains, when in reality they were just earlier versions of us, working with less information, fewer tools, and more pressure. Imagine talking to your younger self, the one who made that choice, as if they were a friend. What would you say? Care softens the grip of shame so you can actually move on. 3. Choose. Only then do we ask, given what I know now, what's one small thing I can choose today? Not 10-year plans, not fixing the past, just one gentle pivot. Maybe it's sending a message to someone you've wanted to collaborate with, updating your CV or portfolio for a future career pivot, blocking off 1 hour this week for something that feels creatively alive. Choice brings you back into the present. Oh, and for the record, it's the only place you actually have power. Then what's next? So that's why you have to hear this. Regret versus responsibility. Sounds important, doesn't it? That's because it is. And here's why. There's a difference between being trapped in regret and taking responsibility. Regret says, I ruined everything. It's over. Responsibility says, I see what I did, I understand why, and now I get to do it differently. One keeps you frozen, the other lets you grow. If you're wrestling with imposter syndrome, feeling like you're late to your own life or behind everyone else in your industry, it's so easy to weaponize your past. To tell yourself, if I'd just started earlier, I'd be confident by now. Or, if I hadn't wasted that year, I'd already know what I want. But think about this. The very experiences you're calling wasted time might be the exact thing that makes your voice different, your work more honest, your creativity deeper. That confusing job, that almost relationship, that project that went nowhere, they're all part of the library you're drawing from now. Let's try this. A quick present check you can try today. If it feels safe, you can pause for a moment. Or come back later when you're walking, commuting, or making tea. I love a peppermint tea. Fresh mint too. Not sure if I told you that anyways. Back to it. Think of one coulda, shoulda, would've sentence that's been on repeat lately. Maybe it's, I should have kept that stable job. I could have gone to uni. I would have been happier if I stayed in that city. Now ask yourself 3 quiet questions. 1. What did that version of me not know yet? 2. What did they need that they weren't getting? 3. What do I know now that I couldn't have known then? Just notice what comes up. No judgment. Then ask, what tiny act of care can I offer myself today because of what I've learned? Maybe it's some R&R. Maybe it's setting a boundary. Maybe it's finally starting that small, scary, creative thing. The blog, the channel, the newsletter, the audio journal. You don't have to overhaul your whole life. Tiny acts of care, repeated over time, become a pivot. Now for that truth I promised. It's definitely real, all right, cause I'm talking from personal experience. The truth about the road to nowhere. Coulda, shoulda, would've feels like a road. Like if you walk it long enough, you'll unlock some revelation that finally makes you feel okay. But really, it's more like a roundabout. You keep circling the same exit, the past. The road that actually goes somewhere is the quieter one. The moment you choose to forgive a past version of you. The decision to back yourself now, even if you didn't back yourself before. Or the tiny experiment you run this week, just to see what happens. That's the road that leads forward. As we wrap up, I want to say this directly. You are not the sum of the things you should have done. You are the person who is here now, listening, breathing, choosing again. This is Pivot Era, a podcast for people in motion, people in transition, people who are learning to hold both regret and hope in the same hand. If this episode helps, maybe send it to someone who's been stuck replaying their own coulda, shoulda, would've story. Sometimes we just need a voice to remind us. The past is a chapter. You're still writing the book. Thanks for being here. And remember, there's no lateness to anything. You're just arriving with more wisdom than you had before. So, get off that road to nowhere and take that next exit on your right. Metaphorically speaking, of course. I know you knew that. Now go. As they say, shoo, and go enjoy the ride. This is an AI voice-powered podcast shared by humans who simply want to connect across generations and normalize the art of starting again. New episodes drop every Wednesday and Sunday. Share it with someone who's navigating their own pivot or who needs to hear that beginnings aren't failures. They're growth.